What's like the most expensive house you have sold?
Me personally, I think I've done about $5 million house that I have sold personally, but I have sold over $750 million in real estate. So I think as of next year, we'll officially cross $1 billion in real estate sales.
Wow.
Every other day there's like a new agent, right? हर
Yeah.
बंदा हर टेस्ट ले रहा है. कई लोग की ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਸੁਣ ਰਹੇ ਆ ਮੈਂ ਵੀ ਸ਼ਾਇਦ ਹਾਲੇ ਟੈਸਟ ਤੇ ਪ੍ਰੈਕਟਿਸ ਕਰ ਰਹੇ ਹੋਣਗੇ,
sure.
ਰਾਈਟ? ਸੋ ਨਵੇਂ ਏਜੰਟ ਨੂੰ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਕੀ ਗਾਈਡ ਕਰੋਗੇ ਕਿ ਲਾਈਕ ਆ ਚੀਜ਼ ਕਰੋ ਤੇ ਆ ਚੀਜ਼ ਨੂੰ ਅਵੋਇਡ ਕਰੋ? Like something they should focus on, then something they should avoid.
Because ਕੀ ਹੈ ਕਿ this is a very stressful business.
It is.
And there's also a business ਜਿਹਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਕਾਫੀ ਲੋਕ ਆਉਂਦੇ ਨੇ and they leave the business.
Do you think ਕਿ ਜਿਹੜੀ government ਆਉਂਦੀ ਹੈ, let's say ਕਿ Trump ਆਉਂਦਾ or Biden ਆਉਂਦਾ, does that matter ਕਿ interest rate ਕੌਣ decide ਕਰੇਗਾ or no?
I would disagree with that. Say, hey, it's lonely at the top. Yes, like some dude somewhere that never has to work a day in his life, it might be lonely. But for an entrepreneur, I don't think it's lonely at the top.
ਭਾਜੀ ਜਦੋਂ ਹੁਣ like obviously you're making money and you said you spend a lot of money, so ਕਿਹੜੀਆਂ ਚੀਜ਼ਾਂ ਤੇ ਜ਼ਿਆਦਾ spend ਕਰਦੇ?
ਕਿੱਦਾਂ ਭਾਈ? How are you doing today?
Thank you, Esprit and Johnny. Thank you for having me. Doing very good, man. Busy day, but we appreciate you having me out here and talking on your great podcast.
Thank you. So, ਕੀ ਭਾਈ, what's new? How do you look at the market right now? ਕੀ ਵਧੀਆ ਚੱਲ ਰਿਹਾ? What should new people ਜਿਹੜੇ ਸੁਣ ਰਹੇ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਕਿਸ ਚੀਜ਼ ਤੇ ਫੋਕਸ ਕਰਨ?
End of the day, ਜਿਵੇਂ real estate ਹੈ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ end of the day depend ਕਿ ਤੁਹਾਡਾ idea ਕੀ ਹੈ ਕਿ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਕੀ ਲੱਭ ਰਹੇ ਹੋ. Are you looking to buy a home? Looking to invest and grow your net worth? Or are you looking to sell, right? So depending on, there's always three parts to every single different market. On the seller end, as inventory as the date with both kata. So definitely, if you're thinking of selling, you can get crazy high numbers for your house. Buyers like definitely thoda bahut jive interest rate utte hoya, but affordability decreased. But again, ਜਿਹੜੇ buyers ਵੀ ਨੇ, I'm telling everyone ਕਿ ਜੇ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਅੱਜ ਦੀ ਡੇਟ ਵਿੱਚ ਕੋਈ ਵੀ ਘਰ afford ਕਰ ਸਕਦੇ ਹੋ, get in now, because coming in the next 6, 4, 7 months, it's only going to go up. Because, it's like just demand and supply.
You think the interest rate's gonna go down? That's why the housing market gonna blow up. Like basically, price is gonna go high.
Yeah, so it has a direct correlation. ਜਦੋਂ ਵੀ interest rate ਥੱਲੇ ਜਾਂਦੇ ਨੇ, prices go up. But it also has to do with inventory, right? Because as the market with inventory bahut cut hai. That's why even though the interest rates rose over the last year, the prices they only went up or they stayed very stable, at least in our marketplace. Because the apne Long Island market hai. Out of state, definitely Texas and all that, because I travel all throughout the United States. I speak on panels. The utte in other states is definitely impacted because जितने बाहर जा सकते हो. But जिमें साडी market है, जिमें Long Island है या New York है, we're surrounded by water on all three ends. So prices have stayed very stable, and prices are only going to go up. As for interest rates, I do believe they will go down because Fed ने किया है कि थल्ले जाएगा. But issue है कि technically they don't want the interest rate to go down because interest rate, when it comes to your economy, your housing payments, one of the biggest things of inflation. So if hypothetically interest rates go down, prices shoot up even more, inflation rises even more. So and one of the only ways to bet against inflation would be to buy real estate.
Do you think कि ਜਿਹੜੀ government ਆਉਂਦੀ ਹੈ, let's say ਕਿ Trump ਆਉਂਦਾ or Biden ਆਉਂਦਾ, does that matter ਕਿ interest rate ਕੌਣ decide ਕਰੇਗਾ or no?
I personally don't believe it matters much कि ਕਿਹੜਾ ਸਾਡਾ president ਹੈ ਜਾਂ ਨਹੀਂ ਹੈ, because end of the day, all these big changes that these politicians make, it makes a very little impact on our lives. Like, yes, when Obama came and they removed the tax credits, that definitely impacted us significantly, at least on the higher end. But, eventually everything sorted itself out. So now you look, there was a time when $3, $4, $5 million homes weren't selling. Now they're $3, $4, $5 million homes are selling like hotcakes.
Right.
So I don't think the administration in farkegi. Yes, definitely if it's a Republican, we will expect lower interest rate because Donald invest in real estate himself. पसंद है कि थल्ले रहन interest rate.
मैं अपनी ते गल कीती ना कि $3, $4, $5 million houses नहीं रह रहे markets. What's like the most expensive house you have sold?
Me personally, I think I've done about $5 million house that I have sold personally, but I have sold over $750 million in real estate. So I think as of next year, we'll officially cross $1 billion in real estate sales.
Wow.
ਤੇ ਵਿਚ ਇਜ਼ ਜਸਟ ਯੂ ਕਿਉਂਕਿ ਮੈਂ ਬਾਕੀ ਸਾਰੇ ਯੂਜ਼ਰ ਨੂੰ ਦੱਸਣਾ ਚਾਹੁੰਦਾ ਕਿ ਭਾਈ ਦੀ ਆਪਣੀ ਟੀਮ ਵੀ ਹੈਗੀ ਆ ਬਾਈ ਦ ਨੇਮ ਆਫ ਟੀਮ ਰਾਜ ਜੱਗੀ
Yes.
ਵਿਚ ਇਜ਼ ਰਾਜ ਜੱਗੀ ਇਜ਼ ਯੋਰ
Yeah,
ਡੈਡ
it's my dad.
ਤੇ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੇ ਨਾਮ ਤੋਂ ਟੀਮ ਚੱਲਦੀ ਆ ਸੋ ਆਪਣਾ ਇਜ਼ ਇਟ 750 ਮਿਲੀਅਨ ਲਾਈਕ ਜਸਟ ਯੋਰ ਨੰਬਰਸ ਔਰ ਇਜ਼ ਇਟ ਦ ਹੋਲ ਟੀਮ
No, it's as a team combined.
Okay.
Listen, one person can only do so much, right? So I dedicate everything to my team, and I'm nothing without them. And if you ask Raj, the same thing. So yeah, so we're working as a team. Last year we did about 387 homes. So we're selling one home every 20 hours. And jada average agent hunda saal da, they sell about 3 to 4 homes a year. And you can Google it. This is online information available. Ki jada average agent saal de 4 kar bechda hai. So we sell about, as a group, but we sell over 350 homes for the last 2 years in a row.
So
The last 3 years in a row.
Go ahead.
ਮੈਂ ਉਹੀ ਪੁੱਛਣਾ ਸੀਗਾ ਵੀ ਵਰ ਟਾਕਿੰਗ ਅਬਾਊਟ ਦਿਸ ਸਟਫ ਰਾਈਟ ਸੋ ਕਿ ਮੇਨ ਕੁਐਸਚਨ ਮੇਰਾ ਇਹ ਸੀਗਾ how do you think a team ਦਾ ਜਿਹੜਾ as collective right ਕਿ ਟੀਮ ਹੋਣੀ ਕਿੰਨੀ ਕੁ ਜ਼ਰੂਰੀ ਹੈ because like you keep on mentioning about team right ਕਿ ਟੀਮ ਦਾ effort ਹੁੰਦਾ ਟੀਮ ਸਭ ਕੁਝ ਕਰਦੀ ਹੈ ਟੀਮ ਦਾ ਕਿੰਨਾ ਵੱਡਾ ਰੋਲ ਹੈ in growing your business
Listen, it's not even about business. Look at everything around you, right? Whether it's sports, whether it's a doctor, whether it's a corporation, there is nothing that's works in great scale without team. So, koi bhi business usi kar rahe ho, if you want to scale, you have to build a team. So, we used to do individual business, me and Raj. We were together. We're selling about 70, 80 homes a year. But, my father is a little bit older. He ended up in the hospital twice that year. Because this is a very stressful business.
It is.
And there's also a business ਜਿਹਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਕਾਫੀ ਲੋਕ ਆਉਂਦੇ ਨੇ and they leave the business. So ਜਿਹੜੇ real estate almost 80% of real estate agents will be out of business in the next 3 to 5 years. Right? And you can search all this up. So ਕੀ ਹੁੰਦਾ ਕਿ ਜਿਹੜੀ team ਹੈ we basically not only act as their coaches, we also grow to come in and grow. Now, if you take, like, I used to be in medical school before. So take medical school, take a doctor as an example. Tusi hospital jande ho, theek hai? There's a nurse who's checking, there's somebody who's checking you in. Then there's a nurse, there's a transporter, there's a CNA, there's a doctor, there's a pharmacist. So it's all a team collaborative effort. So when I learned that, and I saw ke baki sare businesses lokan ne teams de naal kite ne, why not real estate? So we were one of the first teams that were actually formed in Long Island, New York, about almost 7 or 8 years ago now. ਜਦੋਂ ਅਸੀਂ ਸ਼ੁਰੂ ਕੀਤਾ ਸੀ. So we formed our team. ਤੇ ਅਸੀਂ ਕੀ ਕੀਤਾ ਸਾਡੀ specialization ਕੀਤੀ ਹੋਈ ਹੈ. So I have, each team member has their own responsibility. Like my team members, they don't cold call. We don't door knock. I create basically killers whose job is to go, if you're a buyer's agent, you're going to go work with buyers. If you're going to work on closings and listings, then that's your job. And in the back office, we have customer service, we have marketing teams, we have phone callers. So sada pura system un set up hai. And like I say, I know we talked about earlier, you travel a lot. How do you do all this? That's exactly the point. Because I have all my systems and everything set in place, that's why I can do it. And that's one of the things we're growing right now is I have another guy that used to be on my team, Aman Kaburia. You can search him up. He still sell about 80 homes a year, 80 homes this year, just by himself and his team. So now that's my goal and mine and Raj's goals because we've done it for so long and we've been very successful at it. We've been the #1 agent in our county for the last 4 years. So Hun Sardake, we want to grow and help people scale. And we want to help other people give back and teach them how, hey, look, if I'm doing it, you can do it too.
Cool. So you were just talking about like cold calling and door knocks. So you said your agents are not doing that. You have separate team, right?
I have never cold called once in my life. I've never door knocked once in my life.
And how do you get so is it like all advertising and marketing that you're getting the leads?
Yeah, so Sada Jada business is a very different business than what most people do. Like they will cold call and they'll mass reach out to people. We don't do that. We run our own ads. Once people say, hey, look, I want to buy or sell a house, then we reach out to them.
Okay.
So they're more like warm leads. And that's why I think makes us so efficient. क्योंकि जेडे most agents ने do listen to any real estate coach, and we've taken all the coaching. We always believe that you can get better. So we've done a lot of different stuff to form what we have today. Almost, Raj has been in business for almost 21 years now. I've been in business for the last 6.5, 7 years. So I've seen a lot of what's failed. And to get to this point, so that I avoid the thing, Jerry, जिन्ना दे विच high yield नहीं हैगी, if that makes
But
sense.
so ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਕੋਲ like ਕੋਈ cold calling the team ਹੈ ਹੀ ਨਹੀਂ ਗੀ? Or
Zero.
like okay.
Zero.
Okay.
Yeah.
So advertising usually like social media advertising या फिर I see like all over Long Island ਤੁਹਾਡੇ bus stands वगैरह ਤੇ या फिर
Yeah.
कितने कितने like everywhere there are your advertisements there.
Yeah, we're on MTA buses, we're in mailers, we're in social
Right.
media, we're in newspapers.
Right.
So साडा की है कि it's called omnipresence. So साडा goal ਹੁੰਦਾ है कि to hit you in all different aspects, right? And I think that's what we go for when it comes to our marketing and our advertising. Believe it or not, those bus shelters don't really get any business. So it's so funny in our marketplace. I'll see new agents go pay $400-500 a month for a bus shelter sign, and I'm like, dude, you're gonna get zero business from it. But great, you can spend money and do it. But it's super weird because साडा की ਹੁੰਦਾ सारी tracking है. So end of the day, a lot of business is still relationship based. And understand, we've helped over 1,200 families, right? ਹੁਣ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਜੇ 1200 family ਲਗਾ ਲਓ times 4 people every family, almost 5,000-6,000 people, they've done business with us. So they know when Team Rahul Jaggi or Rahul Jaggi or we're coming in, what to expect, right? So sada haje business, a lot of business is from referral and repeat clientele.
Okay. And but like compared to like ਜਿਹੜੀ physical advertisements on the versus social media advertisement, which works the best?
Physical
question.
advertisement ਜਿਹੜੀ ਹੈ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ definitely it'll get you a hotter lead.
Okay.
ਜਿਹੜੀ social media the advertisement, and think about it like
ਕੋਈ ਵੀ ਦੂਜਾ
marination, right?
Right.
So ਉਹਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਕੀ ਹੈ ਕਿ I don't know if you cook or not, but you take it, you put chicken, you put the masalas together, and it marinates over time, and then you pull it out, and when it's ready, that's when you cook, right? So JD social media, it's great for gaining a wide reach
Okay.
and an audience. But JD physical, not even physical, I think it's like whenever the time is right. So I think social media, JD, it definitely helps us stay top of the mind awareness.
Okay.
So that's the main thing that I would say social media is good for. Business भी आंदा है, but again, it's very hard to convert business. At least what I've seen.
Yeah.
For most agents, क्योंकि मेरे भी team member ने, there's other agents in my office. Just because somebody asks you a price of a house doesn't mean they're gonna buy.
Right.
Or just because somebody they said they want to buy it doesn't mean you're gonna close them.
Right.
So there's a lot of like steps in between that we've kind of perfected that help us take it to the next level.
ਕੋਈ
ਮੈਂ ਇਹਨੂੰ ਦੇਖਦਾ ਹੁੰਦਾ ਨਾ ਕਿ because he does real estate, right?
Okay.
So ਇਹਨੂੰ ਦੇਖਦਾ ਹੁੰਦਾ ਕਿ like ਸਾਈਕਲ ਨਹੀਂ ਹੁੰਦਾ ਕਿ like ਬੰਦੇ ਦਾ ਗ੍ਰਾਫ ਬਣ ਰਿਹਾ
Yeah.
ECG ਦੀ ਰਿਪੋਰਟ ਨਹੀਂ ਹੁੰਦੀ ਏਦਾਂ ਬਹੁਤ ਖੁਸ਼ ਹੈ ਉਹ ਮੈਨ ਇਹ ਪ੍ਰੋਬਲਮ ਆ ਗਈ ਬਹੁਤ ਖੁਸ਼ ਹੈ ਇਹ ਪ੍ਰੋਬਲਮ ਆ ਗਈ ਉਹ ਬਹੁਤ ਖੁਸ਼ ਹੈ ਰਾਈਟ ਇਟ ਜਸਟ ਗੋਜ਼ ਔਨ ਐਂਡ ਆਫ ਮੈਂ ਹੁਣ ਉਹ ਚੀਜ਼ ਜੇ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਤੋਂ ਪੁੱਛਾਂ ਰਾਈਟ ਹਾਊ ਡੂ ਯੂ ਡੀਲ ਵਿਦ stuff ਕਿ like okay like you're close to a deal because ਜ਼ਰੂਰੀ ਨਹੀਂ ਹੈ ਕਿ ਜਿਹੜੀ like you said ਕਿ ਤੁਸੀਂ deal ਦੇ ਕੋਲ ਆ ਉਹ close ਹੋਏਗੀ right
for sure.
so that happens with
that
you right
happens.
so ਜਿਹੜੀ deal close ਹੋਏ so how do you take a rejection or not a deal closing how do you deal with that
So with me personally, I have a different mindset when it comes to deals, and I think this is a mindset a lot of people can learn from, which is an abundance mindset, right? If this thing falls, there's another deal coming. If this one's not there, then there's another 100 coming. And if you put this through, I was telling my team earlier today, I had a team meeting. I hold every Tuesdays and Fridays. I meet with them. And they asked me the same question, right? It's a newer agent. She's like, yeah, but it's a roller coaster. Some days are good, sometimes are bad. What keeps you motivated, right? For me personally, I'm always broke. Right? What I do is he laughs. He laughs like, bro, you're making so much money. You're doing this, selling one home a day. How are you always broke? Right? So ikta expense. I always expense. The other thing is what I do is I invest my money away. So I think that's something that a lot of people miss in real estate is because most people get into this business as backup. Or nowadays, there's a lot of people, they see the shiny penny, like, oh, lights, camera, action, Netflix. If they could do it, I could do it. But most people don't take the time and the effort it takes. Because in New York State, and I know your followers are all over, but New York State only like I think 72-hour course or 77-hour course to become a real estate agent. So anyone can do it,
Right.
right?
Not
But
really.
but to be successful and to grow at it, I think there's a mindset shift that has to happen, right? So, and for me, it took a while for that mindset shift because I was just like every other agent, man. I was like, damn, आज भी ज़्यादा check lose होगी, right? I still remember. I think there was like a day I lost like almost $130,000 of deals in like 1 or 2 days max, right? And me and Raj are looking at each other, and he's like, "You good? You good? Yeah, we're good. No worries. No worries, right? There'll be another 130, 140K to make on the next day." So I think that's the thing. Even as a newer agent, that'd be my advice to you.
Yeah.
That number one, don't count your dollars before they come in. A lot of agents like they'll be like, "Oh, okay, so I'll make this much, this much. Okay, I'll make 20 grand on this deal." Number one, don't count because in real estate, nothing ever is counted till it
Until
closes.
closing, yeah.
Number two, one of the other things to a lot of people to that you need to avoid is what's called the EKG, roller coaster of real estate, right? Some days you making money, sometimes you're not. And the way I avoid it is I keep my pipeline full. And the way I do it is I stay motivated. So I'm usually the last one to leave the office to this day. And you can ask my whole team. They're like, "Oh, you don't have anything else to do." I'm like, "I don't care. This is what I do." Right? And I think that's the thing. A lot of people, they'll be 1 foot in, 1 foot out. Do I really want to do it? And if you ask Raj, my father, the same thing, because that's what he was doing before. So he had a lot of different businesses. Our success came when we went all in. So, like, we burned all the boats, right? Burned all the boats. There's nothing else to do, and we're all in.
I want to know about some stories, right? कि
Yeah.
कोई ऐसा funny deal या कोई ऐदा दी कोई story हुई होवे कि like कोई deal like close करने लगे हो कोई problem हो रही है like any complicated deal.
Stuff happens all the time, in real estate. So to like get one like right off the top of mind, I know we didn't have you're just asking off top of your head. I would say one of the funniest, not the funniest, but one of
Hardest one.
Craziest.
the craziest one that recently happened was in real estate. There's a thing called a final walkthrough. ठीक
Right.
है?
Are you talking about the story that you just posted like a couple of days ago?
ਕਿਹੜੀ ਵਾਲੀ?
कि there's like the saman bar ਪਿਆ ਹੋਇਆ and all of that.
ਨਹੀਂ ਉਹ ਵਾਲੀ ਨਹੀਂ ਉਹਦੇ ਤੋਂ ਪਹਿਲਾਂ ਦੀ ਹੈ 2 ਵੀਕ ਪਹਿਲਾਂ ਦੀ ਉਹਦੀ ਤਾਂ ਉਹਦੇ 'ਚ ਕੀ ਹੁੰਦਾ ਕਿ ਫਾਈਨਲ ਵਾਕ ਥਰੂ ਕਰਦੇ ਹਾਂ ਅਸੀਂ ਰੀਅਲ
ਜੀ।
estate ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ happens 24 to 48 hours before the closing and ਉਹਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਕੀ ਹੁੰਦਾ ਅਸੀਂ ਆ ਕੇ ਦੇਖਦੇ ਹਾਂ ਕਿ house is completely fine, it's empty, everything like that.
ਤੋੜ ਭੰਨ ਤਾਂ ਨਹੀਂ ਹੋਈ
ਤੋੜ ਭੰਨ
ਕੁਛ,
ਤਾਂ ਨਹੀਂ ਹੋਈ
yeah.
anything like that. So ਅਸੀਂ ਹੁਣ ਆਪਣਾ ਹੀ ਘਰ ਵੇਚ ਰਹੇ ਸੀਗੇ and in the pind I call Hicksville, right? I call Hicksville the pind. So if you guys are from Hicksville, you're watching this, I call it the pind, right? So in Hicksville there's a house. We're selling it, we staged it. And ਉਹਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਕੀ ਹੋਇਆ ਕਿ neighbor called me out of the blue and she's like, ਬਾਹਰ ਘਰ ਦੇ ਬਾਹਰ garbage ਪਿਆ. Today's not the day for garbage. Can you tell your seller to move the stuff? I'm like, that's not possible because there's nobody living in the house. It's empty. It's staged. And we figured, okay, I don't know what's going on. So then when my agent, she went the next day for the open house, there's some dude sitting like passed out in the living room,
Oh,
drunk. Right? We were like, I don't know where this guy came from. क्योंकि पहला उस घर ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਟੈਨੈਂਟ ਸੀਗੇ ਉੱਤੇ ਵੀ ਟੈਨੈਂਟ ਥੱਲੇ ਵੀ ਟੈਨੈਂਟ ਸੀਗੇ ਸੋ ਅਸੀਂ ਟੈਨੈਂਟ ਨੂੰ ਬਾਹਰ ਕੱਢਤਾ ਠੀਕ ਹੈ ਤਾਂ ਮੈਂ ਕਿਹਾ you need to leave man, this is house, you're trespassing. So we got him out. Next thing what we do is next week something else happens again and now there's a whole family in there. Right? Craziest thing, right? The house, I'm selling the house on the market and these guys, they're squatters. If you heard New York State, there's like a lot of shit going on with squatters.
Right.
So there's a whole family in there now, and it's snowing outside. And I called the police, and police like, sir, that everything's good, but we can't kick these guys out. It's snowing outside. She has a kid. I said, if hypothetically somebody's walked into your home and your wife's there, and you can't kick them out, well, he's like, well, I don't know, but they're saying they have a lease. I said, they don't have a lease. The owner doesn't live here. And so we had this whole issue going on with this house. Push comes to shove, 2 weeks later, we kicked these people out. Now what happens? We go to final walkthrough, we go to closing. So we sold the house, we changed all the locks, we removed all the furniture. Jada car stage siga, staging furniture te aage bande aage reh rahe ne. So we kicked it. It's crazy, bro. So then now we go to closing. Now we go to closing table. So the agency, oh, menu call aa rahi hai, keh raha hai, yaar ਅਸੀਂ final walkthrough ਕਰਨਾ ਭੁੱਲ ਗਏ. Can you go and do the final walkthrough? I said, no worries. The lockbox is there. The keys are in the lockbox. You guys go do it. So they're at and by this time, for some odd reason, I guess, see, that's the thing with real estate. There's a lot of agents that are just new agents, and maybe they don't have a mentor or someone telling them how the process goes. So in this case, however, they closed on the house. They never did a final walkthrough. I thought they did. They didn't. And now, this after closing, he's like, Paji, mainu final walkthrough karani hai. And they go into the home and they see the whole first level, and upstairs the door is locked. So I'm like, okay, the key should be there. They're like, I don't know. I was like, I don't know, the key should be there. I'll ask the owners, no issues. Guy calls me back next day again. He's like, bro, the keys are not here. You told me you're going to send somebody with the key. I said, the owner said all the keys are in the lockbox. So if they're in the lockbox, they should be there. He's like, well, it's locked upstairs. I said, don't worry. I'll pay the locksmith, whatever you want to pay them. So understand this. This is like almost 72 hours after closing when the lady who bought the home, she's moving in. So now they have to go get someone to break the lock upstairs. To everyone's surprise, they go in. We call the locksmith. I tell them I'll pay for the locksmith. They break into their own home upstairs. There's a dude passed out in the living room. Crazy, absurd. Never had this happen. I've sold over 1,200 homes. I've never had this happen ever. कि बंदे कर अंदर चाबी खोल के, they broke into the house, and closing भी होगी, and then now they had to get the law informants involved and get them kicked out. But it's crazy.
So what happened? Like, was it like the new buyer? Was he able to kick the other guy out?
Yeah, he was
or-
able to. The police got involved.
Okay,
I
because
think,
I think there's a 30-day timeline as well. If like squatters can prove that they've been living there for 30 days, and then that's really hard process to kick them out
so squatters are a huge issue right now
in all the liberal states.
Yeah.
Yeah, liberal.
Liberal.
मैं so fine walkthrough ਦਾ मैं concept समझना चाहना. How does the walkthrough actually go through?
So walk through, let's say you see a house. Let's say like we're buying this room. We'll make sure that the furniture's out. There's no holes in the wall bigger than a golf size. The toilets are flushing. The heat is on. The water's running. So stuff like that. So we like walk through in the 24 to 48 hours before.
Right.
कि ਜਿਹੜੀ ਚੀਜ਼ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਲਿੱਤੀ ਹੈ ਉਹ ਉਸੇ ਕੰਡੀਸ਼ਨ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਮਿਲ ਰਹੀ ਹੈ ਨਹੀਂ ਮਿਲ ਰਹੀ.
So ਜਿਹੜੇ ਘਰ ਕੇ ਕਹਿ ਲੋ ਕਿ you're not in the best position, right? ਕਿ ਜਿਨ੍ਹਾਂ ਨੂੰ fix and flip, right? So fix and if you're talking about fix and flip, ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ walkthrough ਹੁੰਦਾ ਕਿ ਨਹੀਂ ਹੁੰਦਾ?
Then if that's as is, then doesn't matter. Like then ਤਾਂ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਜਿੱਦਾਂ ਦਾ ਵੀ ਹੈਗਾ ਘਰ, you take
ਲੈਣਾ
that
ਪਏਗਾ,
as it is.
ਜਲਿਆ
But,
ਸੜਿਆ ਜੋ
yeah,
ਮਰਜ਼ੀ ਉਦਾਂ ਹੀ.
then those are like ਜਿਹਦਾ contract ਬਣਦਾ ਹੈ, that is like a different
As is,
contract.
yeah.
But like you're buying a movable house, like livable house, and ready to move in, then you have to.
Like hypothetically, if the AC is in the home, then AC is in the home and you saw it and it's working. You want to make sure the AC is working.
Yeah.
The pani aa raha hai, the pani aa raha hai. You can't and that's how we're protected here.
Yeah.
ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਵਾਲੇ ਕੇ ਤਾਂ ਬੰਦਾ ਵੀ ਨਾਲ ਆ ਰਿਹਾ ਸੀ. ਉਹ ਤਾਂ ਬੰਦਾ ਨਾਲ free ਆਇਆ ਘਰ ਦੇ.
Listen, that's not how it works with us. But it happened once. You asked me the craziest story.
ਨਹੀਂ ਬਈ ਯਾਰ.
ਕਦੇ ਭਾਜੀ ਇਦਾਂ ਹੋਇਆ because like ਮੈਂ ਹੁਣੇ ਸਟਾਰਟ ਕੀਤਾ ਨਾ ਤੇ ਮੇਰੇ ਨਾਲ ਐਕਸਪੀਰੀਅੰਸ ਹੋਇਆ ਸੀਗਾ. I was showing this lady houses for like almost like 4 weeks every weekend. She liked the house, she loved the house, and then next thing you know, she put an offer through one of his cousins.
Yes.
Yeah. So I was like, oh, what the fuck is
Yeah.
like what you doing?
Good.
Like,
So I'll tell you, in this case, the issue is not the client issue. Right? Sorry to be harsh. But ki hunda ke there's a thing called buyer's agency. We started it 6 years ago in Long Island. With the North rule and stuff, a lot of people are going to be implementing buyer's agency. So technically, what you should have done was signed a buyer broker, that you are representing her as the individual agent. That way they can't go around you.
But then most likely, like I tried doing that. Not tried, but like, I at least like, have heard from other people like their experiences. But they're like, people don't want to sign that. Like,
Yes.
look,
People don't want to sign that because you're not providing value in who
Okay.
you are, what you bring to the table.
okay.
So come aja mere na lake kam kar, I'll teach you how to do it, and then I'll sign every single one. I sign about 95%. So if someone sits in front of me and I tell them who I am, what I do, there's a 95% chance that you will hire me as your agent. And what I teach my team is the same thing. Okay, I'll teach you what's been working for me, right? Listen, it happened to us, right? It's like not to say we're not perfect. It happened to me. It happened to Raj with one of his best friends. But that was the day we set a cutoff, right? Working with the guy. You're talking about 6 weeks. I'm not about 6 months. About a year, 2 years you worked with somebody, right? It happened to us. 2 years Raj worked with one of his close friends, and we didn't sign him क्योंकि कोई गल नहीं है तो मेरा वीर है तो मेरा दोस्त है तो मेरा भरा है कोई गल नहीं, right? But when the house you don't know what's going through a buyer's mind when because it is a very stressful process, right, to buy a house. So they went around and listen. I don't sign them to have people bound with me, but there's other benefits that I can offer people that hire us as buyers agents, whether it's like a warranty or whether it's a buyback guarantee or guarantee to sell their home for free if they're not happy with it within 1 year, right? So we have all these different things that we do for our clients, which is why people hire us on the buy side and the sell side.
Got it.
Mm-hmm.
Buyback ਦਾ ਕੀ ਕਹਤੇ हैं कि if they don't like the house you buy back?
Yeah,
How does that work?
the same way, man. Remember, you and I talked about it. What I do is I implement a lot of stuff from other industries into my business. So whether it's like you go to a car dealership, you trade in your car, or it's like, hey, if you're not happy with the home that you buy through us, I'll sell it for free or I'll buy it back. No issues.
So ਉਹਦੇ ਤੋਂ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਕੀ ਫਾਇਦਾ?
You're my
Gaining
client for
trust.
life.
You're getting their trust.
You're my client for life. Right? ਤੁਸੀਂ ਜਿਵੇਂ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਕਹਿ ਰਹੇ ਕਿ ਤੁਹਾਡਾ cell phone store ਹੈ, right? So if you have a cell phone store, and I could potentially go buy an iPhone tomorrow, and if I'm not happy with it, right, it happens around us. So think about it. I can go to Apple, I can go to Best Buy. If I'm not happy with it, I can return it. There's not one other real estate agent that has in his balls to say, hey, look, if you're not happy with the home I sell you, I'll sell it for free or I'll buy it back. Yeah, it's my differentiating factor.
ਤੇ ਭਾਜੀ ਜਦੋਂ ਹੁਣ like obviously you're making money and you said you spend a lot of money,
Yes.
so ਕਿਹੜੀਆਂ ਚੀਜ਼ਾਂ ਤੇ ਜ਼ਿਆਦਾ spend ਕਰਦੇ ਹੋ?
Number one, I spend on real estate.
Real estate?
Real
You
estate.
like-
Buy. So you can never
What's your
go.
main focus in New York or the other states?
I only invest in New York, and I personally only invest in Long Island. So between मेरा क्या होता है कि जिਵੇਂ काफ़ी लोग ਹੁੰਦੇ ਨੇ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਨੇ I'm going to go invest out of state, I'm going to go invest overseas, ਜਿਵੇਂ ਸਾਡੇ ਆਪਣੀ ਕਾफ़ੀ families ਨੇ they're like ਅਸੀਂ ਇੰਡੀਆ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਇਹ plot ਲੈ ਲਿਆ, ਇੰਨੇ ਗੱਜ ਜਗ੍ਹਾ ਹੋ ਗਈ, ਇੰਨੇ ਏਕੜ ਹੋ ਗਏ, none of that, ਇੰਨੇ ਕਿੱਲੇ ਹੋ ਗਏ. I don't care about any of that. So what we do is we invest in real estate in our neighborhoods where I understand it and where I know that if shit hits the fan, I can sell it, right? And understand that we're in the business. So I know I know what's a good deal, what's not. And same thing I tell my investors too. I said, look, if I say I'm going to run this deal through you, or if I say I have checked the numbers on this deal, I guarantee you're not going to lose money. If you lose money, it's on me. So that's how I do it, right? So I only invest around here because the main reason is, number one, I understand it. Number two, I can manage it. It's a little bit easier. I have my plumbing, I have my electricians, I have my handyman, koi cheez hundi hai. And most the investment that we personally do is long-term hold. So, we own about a lot of homes, about 40, 50 homes. And, I don't want to have to worry that the rules changed or the currency shifted. We don't want to worry about all that.
Right.
So we invest in Long Island.
Cool. What's the second most thing?
ਮੈਂ ਇਹ ਸੁਣਨਾ ਚਾਹੁੰਦਾ ਸੀ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਰੀਅਲ ਸਟੇਟ ਛੱਡ ਹੀ ਨਹੀਂ ਰਹੇ ਕੋਈ ਕਿੱਥੇ ਤਾਂ ਕੋਈ ਤਾਂ ਚੀਜ਼ ਹੋਏਗੀ ਜਿਹੜੀ
Dude,
ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ
I
ਹੋਰ
eat,
ਇੰਜੋਏ ਕਰਦੀ
I
ਹੋਏਗੀ
eat, breathe, sleep real estate. That's one thing you want to know about me.
Okay.
I also love to spend on restaurants, going to travel, going to stay in nice places. I travel about once a month, possible just because of the team. We go stay at nice spots. When I was a little bit younger, maybe like a year and a half, 2 years ago, I would spend a lot on clubbing and going out. Now I'm trying to turn that down a little bit.
ਸਾਨੂੰ ਮਿਲੇ ਤਾਂ ਹੁਣ ਕਲੱਬਿੰਗ
ਲੈ, ਇਹ ਤਾਂ ਗੱਲ ਮਾੜੀ ਆ ਅਸੀਂ ਤਾਂ ਕਹਿਣ ਲੱਗੇ ਸੀ ਕਿ ਭਾਈ ਕਿ ਚਲੋ ਫਿਰ ਕਲੱਬਿੰਗ ਲੈ ਕੇ ਚੱਲੋ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਜਾਂ ਅਸੀਂ ਨਾਲ ਚਲੀਏ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ
चलो चलते हैं इस weekend.
ਦੇਖਿਆ
Always ready, bro.
ਮਿੰਟ ਚ ਮੰਨ ਗਏ
Always ready.
ਤੁਸੀਂ ਤਾਂ
I
ਬੜੀ
always,
ਛੇਤੀ ਮੰਨ
always say yes first. Yes first.
Yeah.
Commit first. Yeah.
ਇਹ ਤਾਂ
Yeah. So I mean, a lot. I love to spend on cars. I mean, I don't have a crazy car collection, but I definitely want to establish that in the future. And I have.
what are the cars on the list?
What are the cars on the list? Right now, I'm shopping. BMW M8, or I love an S-Class convertible. I don't want to go too crazy.
Okay.
I want to save like I could go buy a Ferrari tomorrow, but I don't want to because I want to save it. It has to mean something, right? Growing up as a kid, that was the car that I wanted. So I think, knock on wood, I'm gonna say my 35th birthday, I want to buy a Ferrari. So yeah, that's what I'm planning on doing. And I'm speaking into existence. So yeah, hopefully we could do that. 35th birthday, I go get myself. But yeah, I mean, cars, dude, cars, hotels, there's travel, whatever you can spend money on, right? And that's one of the things I talk about is like you have to learn how to like live broke, right? Because a lot of people, what they do is money comes in, they save. I still save, but I save differently. I take it, I invest into real estate. But what really gets me up going is seeing, hey, look, man, if I don't show up to work today or tomorrow, I might not be able to pay the bills. So, like, my expenses are always super high. But it's going to a nice restaurant, $1,000 dinners, going out clubbing, going traveling. Like, it doesn't matter, dude. Like, money is fake. Literally, money's fake. You could have 100K. We could all have $10 million in this room. Or we could all have $100 million in this room. Nobody else would care. Would you agree with me or not?
I 100% agree.
Right? We could all have $1 billion each in a room. There's so much freaking money to go around. And I think that's really it's the soch jedi apne a lot of our jede not to say like our culture is like get save karo, save for a rainy day. There's that. I'm like, dude, screw that. Make more for a rainy day. Learn how to spend
good
more
one.
and make more, right? I was talking to someone. They said, "Oh, if I make more than $160,000 in a year, I have to pay Uncle Sam more taxes." I said, "So, pay more taxes,
Right.
buy more real estate, use the depreciation, buy a nicer car, right? All these stuff is set up in place. So that's my thing. कि मेरा ਹੁੰਦਾ कि जो भी है खर्च दो, क्योंकि that number one, there's always gonna be more coming in. Number two, this also keeps me hungry and motivated, right? Imagine I'm sitting on millions and millions of dollars, and I'm like, you know what? What's the fun in life?
Plus, you're spending on like really, really good things. Actually, like
Yeah.
investing in real estate. It is spending.
Yeah.
But it's a very logical spending.
Yeah, it's logical. It's a hold. I mean, I went and stayed in the city with like some of my closest friends in a penthouse in New York City for the last like 2.5 years, right? I got out of a relationship. I said, you know what? I need a change of scenery. And when I moved in with like my close friends, and we had a penthouse in New York City, we had threw some crazy parties there. I think we threw one where it was like freaking 2 feet of snow outside and everyone's in bikinis and snow coats. Look at his face.
ਆ ਹੁਣ ਆ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਗੱਲ ਕੀਤੀ ਆ ਸੁਣਾ ਹੁਣ ਆ ਕੀ
Yeah, no, nothing, man. We just, we always do cool stuff, right? So that's like a party we threw, and it was like I was supposed to come home, but I got stuck in the snowstorm, and everyone's in the city, and I think there's videos somewhere there online where like we literally have a beer pong table set up outside, and we're just having a good time outside, and we're in snow coats and. Couple of people are in their bikinis, and it was just so much fun.
That's what's up.
That
Yeah.
sounds good. Sounds interesting.
Yeah, crazy nights and I did my birthday. My 30th birthday in Miami. Tesha showed up, had ripped drinks with him. That was cool. I was at a conference last month. Michael Chandler,
Oh
the
yeah, I saw that.
UFC guy, was ripping shots with him. Jalen Rose, so like it's really cool, and I think that's the thing, right? Like, you wanna, if you have it, you wanna end up in the right rooms, and you wanna spend it so that you can not even learn from people, but also just have that experience. Say like, hey man, I did that shit one night, one crazy thing.
How important do you think is that?
Dude, your network is your net worth, plain and simple.
Can you say that again?
Your network is your net worth.
Your network is your
Is your
network.
net worth, right? So I go travel at least 3 times a year, and what I do is I go meet other entrepreneurs, right? Not only to learn something from them, I also share. So I'm not somebody who's just like, hey, give, give, give. I also share, share, share. So what we do is we will like go share what's working for me in my marketplace, what's working for you in your marketplace. And then that's not only are we networking there, we're also figuring out, hey, what's more cool, new, more ways to make money. So like I was just at one where it was like about flipping, right? And I don't really flip homes. Like we've done them in the past, but for whatever reason, I met these young guys doing 100 flips a year. I'm like, dude, that's sick. He's like, dude, you sell 400 homes a year. That's sick. You own 50 round product. That's sick. I'm like, no, dude, I want to get what you do. And he's like, no, I want to do what you do. Right? So it's something cool. And I think like networking is key. And the other thing I think that really impacts a lot of people is your 5 closest friends. Um, Whatever they're earning, likely is going to be what you're earning or you're headed towards. Um, so that's something cool, like because we all give off energy, right? Some good energy, some good vibes energy. Some people are positive, some are negative. So like a couple of my really close friends right now, what we're doing is we're all investing in real estate together, and like I have a benchmark, right? The people that are around me, because oftentimes what would happen is like I would want to go do something, and then someone's like, "Hey, I can't afford to do that. I can't do this. I can't do that," and I'm like, "Dude, number one, if you're my homie, I want you to do it with me, right? Whether money's not an issue, because remember, I don't believe money's real. So then I'm like, you know what? If we're gonna do it, then we're gonna do it together. So now, like, even if I had friends that were like a little bit less income earners, I'm trying to get them up to closer to where me or my other friends are. So I think that's something that I'm doing right now with like my really close friends. I'm like, hey, look, dude, let's build more wealth using real estate. Because understand, that's the only thing I know. I was in crypto. I was in stocks. I got all that money out. I sold it. I'm just in real estate. Whether it's rent, develop, flipping, that's what I'm kind of headed towards. And that's the thing. Like the 5 closest people and whoever's watching, like you take your 5 closest friends and you figure out how much money they're making, and you see how do you compare with them. More often than not, you're the average of the 5 closest people around you. At least that's what I have felt. So I'm always like, hey, dude, we got to level up. And a lot of people don't have this money talk, right? A lot of people don't talk about money with their friends. A lot of people don't talk about, hey, how I can improve, hey, how we can grow together. Because unfortunately, our society is like that. It's like, if you have it, ਪਹਿਲਾਂ ਜੇ ਉੱਤੇ ਨਹੀਂ ਜਾਂਦੇ ਪਹਿਲਾਂ ਕੋਈ ਲੱਤ ਥੱਲੇ ਫੜਨ ਲਈ ਖੜ ਜਾਂਦਾ ਹੈ. So and like when I go meet other people from other different, like, dude, me and my friends did this, me and my friends did that, we built this something great. And I'm like you take any single company, like in the United States, that's on Dow. Every company was formed with friends, correct? Right? Like whether it's Microsoft,
Microsoft.
whether it's like Apple, yeah,
Apple.
whatever
Oh,
it
yeah,
was, like
Apple
they
was
were
there
all
too.
friends at one point. So I'm like, dude, why could we not as friends do some shit great? So now what I do is I kind of surround myself with the right people, no negative energy allowed, um, guys that want to improve, guys that want to like be great.
Have you heard the phrase "it's lonely at the top"?
Is-
And
Yeah.
do you think that because you meet a lot of people, I'm
Mhm.
pretty sure like you're like loaded with good friends and like
Yes.
good family, but like you probably meet like a lot of people
Hmm.
who actually like who seem like they're lonely.
No,
Is that true? No.
absolutely not. I don't believe in that, right?
Okay.
It's about what you believe in, right? So if you believe, hey, it's lonely in the top, you're going to be lonely in the top. But if I believe that, hey, look, I'm taking all my homies to the top with me, then I guess we're all going together,
Right.
dude.
But I know, like
Yeah.
obviously in your case,
Yeah.
that's not definitely not
Yeah.
true. But what about like other people? Like you meet other people, right?
I'll tell you one more
And
thing, right?
right,
Top is very relative, man.
okay,
Top is very relative. Because if you think you're here, there's somebody here. If
right,
you think this guy's here, there's somebody on top of that. And there's somebody on top of that. So
Right.
like I mean I wouldn't disagree I would disagree with that, say hey it's lonely at the top. Yes, like some dude somewhere that never has to work a day in his life, it might be lonely. But for an entrepreneur, I don't think it's lonely at the top. I think for an entrepreneur, it's you have everyone around you. You have good people around you. That's how you get to the top, right? So you're never gonna forget how you got there, right? It's the journey of getting there. At least that's for me.
got it.
When it comes to journey for you, right?
Mhm.
How would you say, okay, like the way you started
Mhm.
and where you're now,
Mhm.
is journey the which would you like to change something?
Would I change anything? So I mean, a lot of people don't know. I used to be in medical school, so I went to Stony Brook. I graduated with economics, minored in chemistry, did pre med. The whole, I want to become a brown doctor. I'm gonna do this, do that. Probably my mom's dream, right? Um, but it took me 2 3 years to get into medical school. I got into U.S. State Medical School. I got there and it wasn't happy. So with me, one of the things is about only doing shit that keeps you happy. So while I was there, when I was there, I was trying to, and 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 what happened was I worked in real estate for about 8 months before. So I did about real estate for 8 months, and the first 4 months I didn't do anything. I didn't do any business. I sold one home, and I think 4 homes in 4 months, and then the next 4 months I did probably about 13, 14 transactions. Um, why? Because I mean, understand I kind of grew up around real estate. I understood it, but what the difference was, Raj, my dad, he went to India, gave me his phone. 4 months later, he said, "Go figure it out." So it's during that time that I really learned what real estate was and how to work it as a business. So I worked on it for 4 months. I went to medical school, and while I was in medical school, I got recognized in Long Island Business News, this, that, top agent under 30, top agent in first year of business. So I got all these awards, and I'm sitting there in medical school in a room maybe a third of the size of the studio, and I'm studying 12 hours, 14 hours a day, 16 hours a day. And I'm like, dude, helping people is great. That's the only reason I wanted to become a doctor, is to help people. And I was like, but I'm really not happy, man. My parents came to see me after one semester. They're like, what happened to you? And they're like, this is not the Rahul we know. I'm like, I don't know. Like, I don't know what to tell you. So then it was kind of like always in the back of my head. And then um, what ended up happening was for some reason, odd reason, um, I guess dad's health wasn't doing that great, and I got all these awards in the paper, and I was thinking about that, and then one day I just got up and left. Like, I understand I went to medical school, never having to work a day in my life. Like, I've been blessed in that sense that, like, I guess we've been smart, naturally street smart, or whatever, or even book smart. Like, I never felt like I've studied to be successful, right? And I'm in med school, I'm working my ass off, and, like, I'm not getting the grades that I want, right? Because for some odd reason. So then I came and I met somebody like I go to these conferences, and I think this is the first time my father sold over $1 million in commissions in a year, and I met somebody, and the dude's like, you said, right? You said you met my father 10 years ago, and
Yeah,
he's like, dude, if you want to make $500,000 in this country, you could.
yeah,
So that was the first time Raj made $1 million in a year, um, and I met somebody there, and they're like, dude, why do you want to become a doctor? I said, well, I want to become a doctor because I want to help people. And they're like, dude, is that the only way left to help people? I said, no. They're like, how else could you help people? I said, you could do charity. You could. He said, your father actually helps people? I was like, how? I was like, I know he has, like, he donates a lot. He's like, no, he helps people achieve the American dream, which is like something really big for a lot of people in this country. And if you guys sold 112 homes a year last year, then you've been helped almost a lot of families. And I'm like, yeah, that's true. He's like, well, believe me or not, where your business is called a tipping point. And if you tip your business to this way, you can help a lot more people. And I think that kind of stuck with me. And that's when I decided, hey, I'm going to give up, not give up, just leave. So I came home with my laptop, my phone charger, my iPhone. And I was in Tennessee. And I left everything there. I went for a drive to clear my mind, and I showed up in New York. And my parents are looking at me like, Dad's like, "Got out?" Yeah, I was like, "Oh yeah." And my mom's like, "But you're supposed to come next week." I'm like, "Yeah." My dad's like, "But you're here now." I'm like, "Yeah, I'm here now." Like, "When you going back?" I was like, "I don't know." But and that's what great parents do. They back you up, good, bad, whatever it is. They're like, "Okay, do what you want." And I could have went back, I just didn't. And I came back, and I actually had one of my investors, Bobby Baji, if you're watching this podcast, dude changed my life, gave me 30 listings in one day, 30, right? So thank you for that. He was one of my investors, one of my first investors that I ever worked with. He doesn't work with me now. He works with other people. But we went. He said, "Hey, I'm interviewing you guys versus another company, another agent. I want to give him half, give you half." I said, "Dude, if I'm coming in, I want it all." And he just called me by chance. Like, "I heard you're in town. What's going on?" I was like, "Well," he's like, "Well, I want to liquidate my portfolio." I said, "You want to liquidate it? Then I would love to help you do it, but I want it all." And that's just, I'm competitive. I like to win. So took it all. And I think that was the day that really changed my life, because in one day, what I was going to make hypothetically as a physician 8, 9, 10 years from now as my starting salary, I made in one day. And I didn't make it one day, but I signed up listings
yeah.
worth that in one day, even more than that, what I would earn as a physician. And I think that was the day I was like, dude, maybe I'm in the wrong industry. Maybe I should do what I'm really good at, which is real estate. So then I kind of gave everything up, went all in, and I've never looked back. So would I change anything? Probably take care of my health a little bit more, but other than that, no, man. Everything's been an experience. It's been a great ride, and we're still going. Still rolling, right?
Do you have a goal for like next 5, 10 years, like specific goal? Like this is what you want to achieve. Like you said, you like investing
Yeah.
in properties.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe have this much worth of properties or anything like that.
I mean, I'm personally somebody that like doesn't ever have a fixated goal. Raj is
Okay.
better at that, and
Okay.
I think that's why it's good. Like, he doesn't work day to day. I do everything day to day, but he's a little bit more about like, hey, let's figure out our vision, where we're headed. I told you what my like 10, 20-year vision is, where like I want to go and develop freaking 200 units, 250 units,
Okay.
maybe build a building. Like, that's where I want to eventually end up. In the next, what'd you say, how many years? 5 years?
5, 10 years.
5 years. I mean, my goal always to buy at least 1 to 2 rental properties a year. That's what I do. That's what I've been doing. And what happens is, at least what I see with myself is, I go up, and then I become stagnant. Right, I get comfortable. Then I go up, and I get stagnant, and comfortable. So right now I'm in the up phase again. So right now what I want to do is I want to do a little bit more development. So I think I'm heading a little bit more towards like flipping, and a little bit more towards, I'll eventually get into new building as well.
And so the rental market these days,
Mm-hmm.
obviously crazy high, but buying a property for rental
Mm-hmm.
with this crazy interest rate,
Mm-hmm.
do you think it's worth it?
Yes, 100%. As long as the property can cash flow or break even, you should buy it.
Even break? Okay.
As long as property can cash flow or break even, you should buy it. Because what will happen is, the moment the interest rates drop, you can refinance, and now all of a sudden you'll be making positive equity. And if you look at it like, and I'll give you like a surefire way to retire in 30 years. How old are you?
I'm 26.
26? How old are you?
27.
27. All right. So you're 26, 27.
We just gave our age away.
That's all right, man. It's okay. No,
You're gonna cut that out.
no issues. That's all right. Listen, what I'm going to tell you is, do you guys own any rental properties right now?
No.
No.
Okay. So, hypothetically, if you were to buy one rental property a year for the next 30 years, right? At the end of your 30th year, the first one would be paid off. All right. So now you're in Long Island. So what's a minimum property worth here?
Like around like 600, I would say, like,
Let's say 500, 600,000,
500,
right?
600.
500,
That's
600,000.
basic, yeah.
Let's say I can buy one a year. I buy one this year. I buy another one next year. I buy another one the year after that. I buy another one the year after that. And we learned this late. I'm telling you, we learned this super late in our business, and how you can get rich using real estate. If you buy one every year for the next 30 years, on the 31st year, your first one's paid off, correct?
Correct.
So you're 26, you're 27 right now. So you would be maybe 56, 57 right now. You buy a property for $600,000 today. What's it worth 30 years from now?
I would say about 1.5, 1.7.
1.5, 1.7.
Yeah,
Let's say on a minimum level,
minimum,
it's worth
yeah,
$1 million bucks.
Yeah.
Let's say it's worth
Easily.
$1 million bucks, right? And you had a tenant or somebody pay your mortgage for the next 30 years. So now in the 31st year, you'll never have to work. You could sell your first rental property. On the 32nd year, you could sell your second one. And I'm telling you, like, a quick, easy way to do it. Could you build more and more? Yes, you could. But I'm telling you, like, when I learned that, I was like, dude, that's easy. Buy one a year, and I just only have to work 30 years of my life. I don't have to be like my father who worked, almost till 60. Great. So then that's what you do. So you sell one every year onwards, and that's what we'll do. So if 30 years, your first one's paid off, and you could retire. You could just and understand, if you do it right, you're making cash flow along the process. So you could quit your job. You could quit doing what you don't like to do. Eventually, you could refi, and you'll have all this equity built. But that's what I learned, and I'm like, dude, I want to share it with people. So that's what I'm doing right now.
That's great. That's great.
That makes sense.
Yeah,
That makes sense, right?
Yeah.
You're
Definitely.
thinking
No, I am thinking. I mean, where to get the 100,000 from?
the
For the first one.
100,000.
For
the
Okay.
first
You don't need that much.
Well, yeah, exactly. You don't need that much to buy a house,
Yeah.
right? And that's a common misconception,
Okay.
right? I sold a home to my bro to one of my buddies last week, and in this market, in this crazy market, we were able to get the home 35K under market value. We were able to do the home loan for 5% down, with a 20K sales concession. So basically, end of the day, money out of pocket was like 34 grand, and homie was able to own a home. Crazy. I told him his first one last year.
How much was the property selling for?
It was for $699,
Okay.
and we negotiated the deal in a way that we negotiated $665. We added 20K sales concession, and he was doing 5% down.
Cool.
So he was able to buy a home for 35 grand.
That makes a
Easy.
lot of sense.
Easy.
Yeah. And if you guys want to do that, learn how to do that, reach out to me. I'd love to help you get it.
There you go. That's how you advertise, right?
Yeah, always be promoting, man.
Yeah.
Always be
Yeah,
promoting.
but and like I always say, yes to him for everything, right? You're like, okay, chalo.
Everything.
No, no, bro. No, no, well, like, kar lo. No, like, chalo, kar lo. No, we're business, bro. We're business. Fuck, man. No.
You
Listen,
can make that as a business.
No.
but listen, if that's the brand, then I should be able to buy these mugs somewhere, man. I should be able to buy these mugs or these cups, these T-shirts somewhere.
Hopefully soon.
Already, you should launch it.
Hopefully
we
soon.
we actually in process launching the merch, but hopefully by end of this year.
Good.
Yeah,
Wow.
because I want to not just simple logo, but I actually want to have a proper designs,
Sure.
good stuff.
All right, I'll tell you one thing.
Yeah.
Do first. Just do it.
Okay.
Just do it. It doesn't have to be perfect, right? The fact that you're out here promoting, I learned that when I came to my social media,
Mm-hmm.
right? I used to be very I don't want to do it. I want to take my time. I want to get a little skinny. I want to look good. I want to have a professional photographer come do it. I want to have a professional script, right? And then I just started pushing out content, 1, 2, 3, right? You were talking how much time you spend. I said, dude, just doing everything in a day. Just pushing out content in a day. And it doesn't have to be perfect, but it's about, just getting it out there, the awareness. And, I mean, I wish you guys the best of luck. We've had a great talk, but at least that's how I would do it, is I would just start pushing it out. And you don't know what will hit, when it will hit,
That's true.
right? So, hey, maybe I would buy a shirt today, but you don't offer me a shirt, so I can't buy it.
Sounds about right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is
Makes
that?
sense. Yeah.
Yeah.
At least with me, that's at least how I think of stuff.
What would you, now that you said that, I have a question for you. What would you say, or, because every other day there's a new agent, right? हर
Yeah.
बंदा हर टेस्ट ले रहा है. कई लोग की ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਸੁਣ ਰਹੇ ਆ ਮੈਂ ਵੀ ਸ਼ਾਇਦ ਹਲੇ ਟੈਸਟ ਤੇ ਪ੍ਰੈਕਟਿਸ ਕਰ ਰਹੇ ਹੋਣਗੇ,
sure.
ਰਾਈਟ? ਸੋ ਨਵੇਂ ਏਜੰਟ ਨੂੰ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਕੀ ਗਾਈਡ ਕਰੋਗੇ ਕਿ ਆ ਚੀਜ਼ ਕਰੋ ਤੇ ਆ ਚੀਜ਼ ਨੂੰ ਅਵੋਇਡ ਕਰੋ? Something they should focus on, then something they should avoid.
Number one, go all in. If you want to do it, treat it like a job. Treat it like a full-time gig. Because a lot of people, what they do is they try to do this as, oh, dilly-dally, hey, I want to do this plus that. So I would say quit everything, go all in, number one. Number two, realize that what it takes to make the amount of money that you want to make. And I think this is what a lot of agents miss when it comes to it. And I'll explain to you what it is. So anytime I have an agent come into my office, I ask them, hey, how much money you want to make, right? And like I had an agent come into my office, and he's like, dude, I want to own a helicopter. I want to have my own pad here. I'm like, I don't do that. There might be some real estate agent somewhere that has one, but then I'm not the right guy to teach you how to do that, right? So I think, and that's also something a lot of times, a lot of people have unrealistic expectations. People expect just because I did this course or I got a real estate license, I should be able to make $100,000 a year or $200,000 a year, right? And like even on TV, what we see, I think real estate's glorified significantly, where like with Selling Sunset, $1 Million Listing, if you check out these girls on social media, they're celebrities. They're not really selling homes. Maybe one home, two homes. I think whatever the whole freaking Oppenheim group sells, they sell in a quarter, right? So it's like so that's something that I think like that's something you want to first sit down and be disciplined and figure out, hey, how much money I want to make. Number two, go learn from the best guy in your marketplace. I always say that, right? Learn from the best, because only if you're learning from the best can you go out and be the best, or can you go out and be better. Don't look at splits. Don't look at like, to this day I'm on the team split. Believe it or not. People are like, where's all my money go? I'm like, dude, I'm on the same freaking team split as my OSAs, right? So what my OSA makes, I make. However, the way our business is set up, it's net. So whatever money I make, it's net. So it's not, there's no other expense attached to it. So I think that'd be the other thing. So first thing first, treat it like a real business. Treat it like a full-time gig. Put in the hours. If you're doing whatever you're doing, whether you're driving an Uber, whether you're working at a hospital, and you're putting in those 40, 60 hours a week, freaking put in those 40, 60 hours a week, right? And then understand how long it takes somebody to earn that kind of money, right? I'll have agents that I'll meet, and they're like, I don't make $300K a year. I'm like, dude, how long does a doctor go to school to make $300K a year or $400K a year? How long does a nurse go to school to make 120, 140K a year? How much school do you have to go to? You can't expect just because you got a real estate license for 6 weeks that you're gonna make what somebody went to 4 years of college and 2 years of nursing school or whatever else to make, or an accountant is making. So I think like that's the thing that a lot of people miss, which is that exact thing that like, hey, how much do I need to know? How much do I need to learn? And believe it or not, the way real estate works, I know you said you just started. How long ago you started?
Like a year.
Like a year ago?
Yeah.
How's that going?
It's going good now. Like
Okay.
it was at the beginning was like really tough, especially like first few months I would say.
Okay.
Yeah, but then like once you have like your first experience.
Okay.
Like,
So how many
getting-
deals have you done? Can we not talk
4.
about that? You've done four.
Four.
Okay, so it's an average, right? That's what an
Yeah.
average agent sells in a year. So what you have to realize is like the first 6 months, and tell me if I'm wrong. First 6 months, you had no idea what was going on.
Yeah, no idea.
Now that you're a year in, you feel a little comfortable. You're like, okay, I got a hang of it.
Right.
So technically, your first year in real estate is the one after your first year. So this year, like January to December this year, that will be your first year in real estate, because now you're comfortable. You have a couple of deals under your belt, and even right now, there's probably things that you don't know,
Right.
right? And things that
Comes with experience.
that comes with experience. There that or a mentor, right?
Right.
Or somebody you want to learn from, and that's, I think, something that a lot of people miss in real estate is a mentor, someone good. And like I was talking to this lady from, I think she was from Douglas Elliman, and she's like, yeah, but like my mentor doesn't do this. I'm like, who's your mentor? She's like, my office manager. I'm like, great. How many homes does your office manager sell? Just put up Google. Dude, the dude didn't sell a house in the last 2 years. Right? So, like, don't listen to that guy. Listen to somebody who's active in the marketplace. That's my...
Cool.
No.
That's but again, like with the sales stuff, like the thing you just mentioned, like you learn something new every day, and like you have to treat it like your daily thing.
Yeah.
Oh, same to you, it's like because you just don't know what kind of new situation is gonna come in.
Yeah.
Right.
You never
Like
know when.
recently they started this the disclosure form. Like before we just used to pay like $500 fee, and then
Yeah.
you don't have to give all the details.
Yeah.
Now you have to like tell everything, like which inspection has been done and all that. So I was like going crazy about the
Yeah.
filling that out for the recent.
Like I was
listing.
going crazy myself, man. I was doing a deal, and the attorney's like, "We're not executed." I'm like, "Why the hell are we not executed?"
Right.
He's like, "Dude, because the disclosure's not signed."
Right.
I'm like, "So figure it out." He's like, "Dude, you figure it out." I'm like, "I'm not figuring it out. You're my
Exactly.
attorney." So I said, "Come to my office tomorrow. Tomorrow's Friday. We're gonna have a hands-on meeting. You're gonna tell everyone about the disclosure."
Right.
Versus me go out trying to learn it to teach somebody else. I'm not gonna do
Right.
that. I'm just gonna get someone who already knows it. I'm like,
Right.
"Dude, you're my attorney. Go teach
come
this. Go teach this to my team and tell me what I need to know."
Right.
And like now it's automatic, right?
Right.
So that's the thing. I think like you always have to ask people and be willing to. There's no such thing as stupid question, real
Yeah,
estate, right?
true.
A lot of people don't understand anything. So that's what I do. So I'm like, dude, I'm gonna go to someone who understands it, and then you teach me because that's the way I learn. I'm gonna go read the book, read these pages, 100 pages of why disclosures need to be signed. No, I'm not doing that. Like, dude, you do it. You understood it. You teach me. Yeah,
But yeah.
learn faster.
Thank you so much.
Good.
It was lovely having you.
Good.
Is there something that you would guide us कि तुम आ चीज करो या stuff like that instead of real estate? I mean, मैं तो real estate कर नहीं रहा. ये कर रहा real estate ਦੀ advice ਤੁਸੀਂ ਉਹਨੂੰ ਦਿੱਤੀ ਹੈ.
No, of course.
So like you mentioned before कि everywhere that you go you learn something new.
Yes.
Right? Podcast ਤੁਸੀਂ ਕੀਤਾ. Hope
Yeah.
like we did it good and stuff.
Very good.
And what would you take from a podcast to your business?
What would I take from podcasts in my business? Listen, I love what you guys are doing. I've told you guys that like I want to have my own podcast. I would love to interview other people, because end of the day, all I'm doing is you're picking my brain. And but I didn't even know he was a real estate agent, but I'm sure he's learned stuff that he can go implement into his business. So that's the thing, right? Like for me, I think that's the thing. Like what did I learn from here? I like the studio, right? I like the studio. I like the people that I'm in front of. I learned about your story. To me, that's super important, right? To me, to learn that, hey, look, he met my father 10 years ago and he told him there's a country you can make $500,000 a year. Or for me to learn that your grandfather used to work in real estate with my dad 20 years ago, that's something really cool for me, right?
Yeah.
So I think to me, that's like, look, the connection's pretty close, right? We're one arm length away from your next deal, your next people. So I think that's something cool that I learned, right? And you just reached out to me on Instagram. You're like, hey, man, I do this thing. Check it out. If you like it, we'll do it. And I'm like, cool. That's my thing this year. I want to be on more podcasts. I want to do more. So, yeah. So, I mean, I think it's great. And I appreciate you guys having me. My word of advice would be that basically if they can't know you, they can't float it. You're plain and simple. So if they don't know who you are, they can't come do business with you. It's the same thing. So I'm on your podcast. I'm going to share you guys on my profile. Same thing, man. Like, I'm sure you're going to get other entrepreneurs that are going to reach out after I'm here. It's the same as when I go to a restaurant, I guarantee you it's the weirdest thing ever. I go to a restaurant, I post it, and at least 10 people go to the restaurant in the next, month. And believe me, if you have me here, it's only going to be very profitable and helpful for you guys, where you're going to be able to attract a lot more, talent. And you already do that anyways, right? You have all these influencers. I'm not even an influencer. I'm just a
We get a lot of knowledge.
normal
Business
dude
tycoon.
selling around the
You're a
real
business tycoon.
I might be, right?
Yeah.
But listen, I'm very humble, and you guys know that. You see that, like I try. I'm just a normal guy, dude. I'm just a normal guy selling a lot of real estate, doing fun shit, right? And if you want to do that, or you want to learn from me, I would love to teach you guys.
Sure, man.
Sure.
Good?
Sure.
All
Thank you so much.
Thank you
Thank
so
you,
much,
brother.
man.
Appreciate
Thank you.
it.
Thank you. Thank
Thank
you.
you, man.